Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 3 of Strelock vs. Gatored from the Intel Extreme Masters Pool B series of games. This is a best of 3 series, so this is the final game, obviously tied up at 1-1. We're going to be playing this, well, we're going to be watching this. This is going to be played on the Shattered Temple map. This is going to not be the GSL or MLG version. There is no neutral supply bunker, or neutral supply bunker. That would be interesting. Bunkers that gave supply. That's like mules that could do siege mode. There's no neutral supply depot to prevent any major sort of wall-in or cannon cheese or some such. And that's perfectly fine. Both players probably not going to be doing that, as there's no major worry of an early expand being blocked. It's not as necessary for Terran or Protoss. They can one base much better than, say, a Zerg. Both players have shown some phenomenal capability and play throughout this series. Strelock at the beginning showed some very unusual openings that led to great early economic advantage, and that he just held and capitalized on and absolutely demolished his opponent in. Gatored, in the meantime, in the last game, showed a unit composition choice that just demolished his opponent. Exceptionally good play and choice of what his opponent had and what he should respond with. Lesser players may have decided to stay standard, may have tried to go for some wonky Stargate or Dark Templar play, but Gatored really sat down, looked at it, and in the moment decided, alright, here's what I'm going to do. And it worked so very well. I would not be at all surprised to see a much larger amount of Stargate, or not Stargate, of Archon and Immortal play against Mass Marauder and nothing but. I have seen a number of Terrans, especially on the EU, basically just going pure Marauder against Protoss. And the problem being that Zealot nor Archon is not armored, so Charge-Lot Archon really counters that pretty heavily, and then when you supply that with Immortal artillery from the back, then you're set. Seems to be a very standard opening from both players. Chrono boosting out the Stalker instead of the Warp Gate. So Gatored wanting to really secure his opening. And again, going to near the, almost getting that supply cap. Did lose his probe, so he is able to get a couple more out at least in production. We do have an SCV down here being sneaky. Wonder what you're going to be doing. We'll see as this gas approaches 100 hits. Or, I'm sorry, as the minerals go up, we can check the factory is 150 minerals. So I've no doubt this little guy is probably going to be dropping some. Nope, he's already got the proxy factory and the starport. Very simple 1-1-1 build. So I have to wonder why this SCV is down here just waiting. Maybe he's looking to scout. Maybe he's waiting a little bit until his opponent may have moved out. Not going to see much of anything as he walks right through a Zealot and takes 2 swing blades to the face. A couple of lasers past that and he was done. Tech Lab going down here as my mouse decides to jerk the camera way off to the side. And instant swap out for, oh, it's a Banshee opening. And we're going to see a 4-gate play. So we're going to have 4-gate with a robotics. That's going to be a strain. Oh, it's going to be a 4-gate Warp Prism play versus a Banshee opener. Both players going for heavy harass to maybe give an early advantage or even an early ending. And he is going to get Cloak for this Banshee. Scouting factory flying on in. The big question is going to be, does he spot? No, he doesn't see the 3 gates. He doesn't see the robotics facility. Scouting through. As Warp Gate just finishes, it'll appear standard until he comes down here. He's thinking the tech is here or maybe here. and he's not gonna see any of it. He's gonna go, wait a second. Where's your stuff? Where's any of your stuff, sir? Did you expand? He must have expanded. He didn't expand. What's going on? Of course, Strelock's sneaking his own expansion in. He's got to be wondering what in the world's going on. Warp Prism is moving out, and it's got 4 Zealots in. It's going to be spotted right away. All the SCV is going to be pulled as the Banshee comes in, and Cloak is about to finish researching. 4 more Zealots being warped in. Going to run right up and start slicing this Marine apart. The Warp Prism was focused down, and this is great. Splitting the Zealots to pick apart at the different... Oh, picking off before the Split Eagle could finish. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it was a great play because Strelock going to be a little low in his supply. These Zealots bugging out. Need to pull away, need to get at those SCVs. If nothing else, he stopped all mining until this Banshee can clean up. These 2 Banshees can clean up all the Zealots. No need to reveal that he has Cloak, so he's not going to do so. But from it, we've had 17 workers, 18 workers killed by Gatored. Now, 1 or 2 of those may have been early on, but we can guesstimate at least 15 from this attack. However, an observer is out to stop any sort of Cloak play, so surprise, we can still see you, and the Banshee attack is nullified. Fantastic opener from Gatored. I'd like to see that Warp Prism, more Warp Prism coming out, another. I'd love to see more of a Warp Prism play, especially in tandem with the 4-gate. Would be absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you don't need a proxy pylon. You make your own proxy pylon. You could drop it right here. You know, just a little bit of an observer scout, because his opponent doesn't have a Raven, though it's possible, and that's probably what he's a little afraid for. Though Strelock is continuing that Banshee production. But if he can just slip, nope, he's going to go right for it, and he's going to go right into the Marines, and this could be a little risky, pulling aside before the Marines actually do a social aggro, dropping in and warping in 4 Zealots. He's got the 4 Stalkers that he brought in initially, and the Stalkers will, no doubt, try to focus these Banshees. The Warp Prism itself does not go down, but there's nothing that can shoot up. A Stalker flies in to get saved. All 4 coming in. Banshees sitting there. So, you want to land those guys, you want to warp more in. SCV's trying to repair. Stalkers being warped in, going to focus down these Banshees. If one can get shot, it does. The Observer here to catch any Cloaks. And the Observer's not actually following. He could cloak these and save it, but he thinks it's around, so he doesn't bother doing so. Some good kiting, and Micro is going to save it. But the Zealots are going to just go to town on the SCVs. He's been trying to saturate this base instead to keep his mining and his income going. But he's down to 4 Harvesters. This is going to be it for Strelock. Gatored going first off the a win against Dongray Gu, and now coming in and beating out Strelock. He's got to be feeling great. Beating a Zerg, beating a Terran. All he has left is beat a Protoss. I am going to be casting the other game, so perhaps he'll do just that. Again, this is from the Intel Extreme Masters New York City event. I can't see Strelock really coming out and winning this in much of any form. Banshees coming in. They're going to try to do what harassment they can, but a quick Stalker warp in will be able to essentially nullify this. Probe's probably going to be pulled. They are, and they can just run and wait a little bit. Strelock is up to all of 9 Harvesters now, really relying on this secret second base. And the Warp Prism bringing back. GG, says Strelock, as the Stalkers do return. Even with a Viking in hand to try to help take out this Warp Prism, just not going to be the case. So, Gatored really showing some great play. I'd love to follow this guy a little bit more. He loves his Warp Prism play, but not overly so. He uses it very intelligently, and he's just got some very solid but unique play styles. So we are going to finish this game, this best of 3 series. We will move into the next series soon enough. For you, it's just 1 click away. For me, I'm going to have to go do another recording, but that's great because I love to cast these games. If you love to listen to me cast, then subscribe, rate, just press the thumbs up. And if you have replays that you would like me to cast, any league really, if it's a lower league, I'm much more likely to analyze and pick apart. But if it's a higher league, I just like to watch pro players play. Send them to me, iselian001@gmail.com. And whether it's your game or a pro game, Intel Extreme Masters or a simple ladder, I will see you in the next game.